Hi, and welcome to twoquestions.tv. I'm your host, Susan Baroncini-Moe. I'm here with an old friend of mine, Chris Reimer. He is someone who did not send me a bio, but he said, can you read my Twitter bio? So I will. Author of the business parable, HappyWork. This book, ladies and gentlemen. He's a humanist, higher ed communicator, former CPA, current wine drinker. I'm not sure those are mutually exclusive. And
I mean, not current. I'm drinking water right now.
Okay, fair enough. It's workday. Yeah. Coffee, 24/7, 365. Secret project in progress, but that's not one of my questions. What will I do? So, Chris, thank you for being on the show, first of all. It's been a minute since I saw you.
It's my pleasure to be here today. We'll make it 3 questions then.
Well, that'll be our bonus question then. Okay.
Lightning round.
Or I will say it as a statement. Chris, secret project in progress. That sure sounds interesting.
So then you're not violating the key tenets of your show. I love that. It's great.
Chris, secret project in progress. That sure sounds interesting.
You know, it sounds interesting to me too. Let's get the show started.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's secret. Oh, I just get it. It's a secret. Okay.
So I am working on a secret project right now that really nobody knows about. So this, even mentioning it here, besides my family. So right now, this is the world premiere of the fact that, besides my Twitter bio,
yeah, I was going to say,
that I am working on that I am
a
working on a secret personal project, and it is not a second book.
Okay.
It's just not a second book. I can't write a second book right now. It's too much pain. You know how it is.
I feel you.
Yeah. And when I wrote HappyWork, which I'm assuming we might chat about it a little bit. Oh, look at that. I love it. I was obsessed. Like I was in the zone, and for 6 solid months I wrote whenever I could, and it was from start to finish. It felt great. You know, I felt great. I was just in a groove. I didn't dread doing it. There are things in life that we try to do on a regular basis, maybe like go and work out, that we often dread while we're doing it. Sometimes we skip that workout. I didn't skip writing. I was into it deeply, and I believed in it. I believe in the book. I'm very proud of how it turned out. I love the fact that it's helped some people. I always wish it could have sold more, but that's just the way the ball bounces.
We all wish that, though. We all ask that. Yeah.
Everyone wants more. And it wasn't like the crazy smash hit or whatever, but it's like, and I know this has happened to you probably, when you get any message from someone that says, I've read your book and it really made me think, or it shook something loose. It shook something loose in me, and I decided to make a change. Yeah. It's like, just knowing you helped anybody is really a funky feeling. I love it.
It's a big deal. It feels really good. Those emails are so meaningful. Reviews are meaningful. People review the books you buy on Amazon. Come on.
I do love.
So since we're talking about this book, and you'll note my shirt kind of matches the cover today. I did that for you. Yeah.
It's good. It's HappyWork blue.
Yes. So okay, this book, HappyWork. It's a super relatable, very readable parable about making happy, productive employees in general, and how it translates into a more successful business overall. Do you think that companies are listening to that message today? And if you knew the business owners were listening right now, like watching this show, like if they're watching this interview right now, what's the big message that you would want them to hear and understand about HappyWork?
So that's like 2 questions?
No, that's a compound question. That's a
compound question.
I only get 2, so I got to make them complicated.
What was the first question again? I remember the business owners one. I don't do good with multi-part questions.
Do you think companies are listening to the message of HappyWork? And if you know business owners are watching this show right now, what's the big message that you want them to really hear and understand?
I think many of them are listening. I think that, I hate to say this, I feel like it's almost trendy now to try to curate a business where people will feel as though they are working in an organization with work-life balance. There is another type of work-life situation that I think a lot of us are dealing with now, and it's not work-life balance. It's what Gen Z calls work-life blend, which is actually admitting to ourselves that it's okay to enjoy our jobs and to have them, the lines between our jobs and our personal lives, like really blurred. Right. And I actually don't mind that. So if I'm on vacation and I answer a few emails, there are people who would think that is a damn shame. I don't feel that way. I want to get the emails answered because I like my job. It's part of my life. So if you think about our work life, if you think about our lives, family, friends, work, and personal pursuits, 4 buckets of time that we can spend. I guess the 5th bucket's sleep, whatever. But four waking hours. I think work-life balance, are we saying that each is supposed to be exactly 25%? No, we're not saying that. We're saying that find a place to work that allows you time when you need it to go deal with your child who's sick at school, to respect the fact that, hey, I'm going to start answering emails at 5 a.m. and I might answer a few at 7. And during the middle of the day, I've got somewhere to be. Or just, so for me, I feel like that businesses are listening to the idea that happy employees are productive. People who do their jobs in a way that makes them feel fulfilled, that it fulfills their human needs, that you can feel safe at your job, that you are provided a variety of things to do at your job, that there are ways for you to conduct yourself at work that allow you to feel a sense of significance, that you can feel a connection to your fellow employees, that you can grow. And that kind of goes with variety a little bit. The more variety you give them, maybe you're able to grow. And then honestly, in the end of the day, most people that are happy at their jobs are making a solid contribution, and they know it and everyone else knows it. Those are basically what Tony Robbins lists as his 6 human needs.
Right.
If you can get the vast majority of those fulfilled at work, you're doing great, and so is the company. So I think a lot of companies are listening to this, and they're trying their damnedest to have a culture that allows this stuff to happen naturally. As far as business owners, what was your question about business owners again?
You mean the second part of the question?
Yes, please.
This is
please.
Just what's the big message you want them to hear and understand?
That is something too. So when I wrote the book, I purposely did not take sides.
Yeah.
In marketing, one of the greatest things that you can do in order to gain a tribe is to polarize. So don't try to be all things to all people. It's okay to have like a rabid fan base of people who believe in what you believe, but then to have a group of people who simply don't get it, that's okay, that you are not in business to please them. I purposely did not take sides in my book. So when I wrote the HappyWork Agreement, which is 46 kind of key tenets that employees are making pledges to their employers are making pledges back to their employees, and then they're jointly making some declarations about what it means to work together well. And in the book, it's a totally screwed up company that needed to have a few rules put on paper.
It's the worst company ever.
so it was the worst company ever. And so that agreement was written for Venori Incorporated, the somewhat fictitious company that's in my book. I've come to a realization after it's been 2.5 years since the book came out. It's been 3.5 years since I finished writing it. It's not even. It's not 50-50 as far as like, let's say we have a company that's struggling. It's more on the owners. It is more on the owners. It's more on management. I think if I had to write the book again, I might change it a little bit. And I might have it be a little bit more angled toward, that company ownership, company management, they are the ones that set the culture. Yeah. And if you think about it, which is a more untenable situation? A company where ownership is totally screwed up, but all the employees are trying their hardest and really doing well. Or a place where the company ownership is setting the right culture and you've got a bunch of workers who aren't quite cutting it. I mean, for me, it's really on the business owners to strike the right tone. Yeah. To, kind of what Simon Sinek says in his second book, leaders eat last, to set a great example for your people like they do in the Marines, so that you can have people who are going to jump on board and will run through brick walls for you. So I think that for business owners, I would speak to them in a little different tone than I did a few years ago. And I would say, and I will still go back to employees and say, look, you have to show up on time. You need to give us your best. When you give 2 weeks notice, don't just, slough off for 2 weeks. Don't burn bridges. Don't storm out of meetings. Just all the little silly, don't burn popcorn in the microwave, all this silly stuff that we do at work. That can make work a lot harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But I would lean on business owners and say, this is a little bit more on you. You're going to have to take kind of a leadership role here.
Yeah. Well, so you're someone who has been both an entrepreneur and employee. And you're one of my friends who seems to enjoy both for different reasons, at least from what I've seen. So do you like one better than the other? What do you like about each of those? Do you feel like you found a happy blend? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, this is an amazing question, because here's what's going on with me. So I tell this, well, I don't tell this story in the book, but I tell it when I give speeches. My grandfather started a company in 1949. He started a company that manufactured windows and doors. So, and that company was in business for about 55 years. Before they sold, I ended up working at that company. I was the CFO of that company back in my old accounting days.
Oh yeah.
During like 1998 to around 2000 or 2001, I actually took the company through Y2K conversion. It was totally crazy.
Ooh.
So, but during the 1970s, when I was growing up, my grandma was babysitting every once in a while, and she would take me, to the business, and I would see with very wide eyes, my grandfather commanding this amazing army of people and people milling about and windows getting made. And, then when I was the CFO, I saw from a completely different angle as I worked for my two uncles. So I had been exposed to entrepreneurship from a very early age. Our house backed up to a golf course. At one time when I was a kid, it was actually a private golf course, and then it turned public. I used to run around with my brother, who's 5 years younger than me. We'd go out on the course and we'd go into the woods and we'd look for golf balls that golfers had lost. And then we would take them home, clean them up, and we would resell them. Our backyard backed up to the 16th tee of the golf course. So, and it was a par 3. So as people were like playing, golfers were sitting there waiting. And they'd see these kids with this little fold-out card table sitting there, and we charged good prices for the golf balls. And so we made money. Like we made some cash. And then the golf course workers would come by and try to shut us down, but they didn't really have a case. But we were kids, so we would listen to them. So that was my first taste of entrepreneurship. That, and I was always a babysitter. So I did a lot of babysitting when I was a kid. And there was this one family, my God, they liked to go out because I was babysitting for them like every Saturday night. But I was making money, And then I decided to go to school and learn accounting. It seemed like the best base of knowledge that I could have for business. Mm-hmm. And so I got my accounting degree. I became a CPA. I eventually worked for the family business. I thought I might end up being an owner of it someday. It just didn't turn out that way, and that's totally okay. But my first taste of like what I would call real entrepreneurship was when I started my t-shirt company back in, I guess that was 2007. So I had a funny t-shirt company called Rizzo Tees.
I was going to wear my Rizzo Tees, but I don't know where it is in my closet. I couldn't find it.
That's quite okay. I'm sure you're using it like as an oil rag in the garage or something now. I understand.
It's an actual shirt I wear.
Well, so no, I do appreciate that. So, so I started this business in 2007. It went live in 2008. I was shipping t-shirts of my own design to places all over the world. It was really it was a hobby entrepreneurship situation. Mm-hmm. I never paid all of the bills with it. I never quit my job. I had dreamed of quitting my job. I dreamed of leaving that accounting job. It was that last accounting job that I had when I was the CFO of a nonprofit here in St. Louis. Like 1 year in, I started the company, totally secret company. I had no idea I was doing it. Working on it in the evenings, working out of my basement, always staying up till 2 a.m, 3 a.m. I was in a zone there, just like I was in the zone when I was writing HappyWork. And if you're not in the zone, then that's a pretty good sign that it might not be the right thing for you, or you might just be like a scatterbrain type person or whatever. But in that case, I was in the zone. Even my wife took note. She's like, wow, you're really into this, which told me that she had watched all my other, crazy ideas not happen. So, but when she saw that, she's like, oh, this might be the real thing. But it never became a real business. I never grew it big enough. One thing that did happen is my attention was pulled in another direction. When I started using social media, I started really enjoying talking with people, getting to know people, meeting some of those people in person for the first time. And that's how I developed my marketing and communication career, was by using social media so much and studying it and learning from my mentors, Gary Vaynerchuk and David Meerman Scott. David Meerman Scott's book was the first marketing book that I read, which is now it's like 6th or 7th edition. First one that I read. And, Gary Vaynerchuk's book, The Thank You Economy, I've read that 3 times. It's his least selling book, according to him, but it is his best. It's his best. It's one of the best business books I've ever read. The Go-Giver was really huge for me, by Bob Berg, of course. And so I read these books and I just educated myself, changed careers. And then eventually by 2014, like the entrepreneur side of things just wasn't even happening anymore.
Yeah.
But then something else happened. I really started succeeding in the world of social media consulting, marketing consulting, communication consulting. And some of my work won awards. I won, there were like 200 pieces of work submitted to a local like marketing award show, and our work, which I spearheaded, came in first out of 200. What? It was crazy. Like I just had never, like just winning stuff like that. I'm like, this is really serious. You could literally put award-winning communication consultant, after it was real. It felt so great. I started really enjoying that. And then I started thinking to myself, well, the Rizzo Tees thing was just over. I just didn't want to make t-shirts anymore. And then at that time I left, I went and I had a job at a wonderful local ad agency. I was there for almost 4 years, and I kind of enjoyed my free time. Now, this is the key. For me, I saw a lot of my friends. You're one of them. Bob's probably another one. Peter Shankman's one, who's just like proudly an entrepreneur. He even put a t-shirt out. It was like, what was it? Oh, I can't even remember. He did this entrepreneurial t-shirt and I bought it as a favor, but I didn't feel like an entrepreneur. So I actually just gave the shirt to the Goodwill because I didn't really feel like wearing it because I didn't feel like it. I'm telling
Peter, you sent his t-shirt to Goodwill.
He wanted the money and he got the money. So he's all good.
Yeah, all right.
But here's the thing. I didn't feel like an entrepreneur and I didn't want to be one. Right before we went on the air, I talked to you about how I never wanted to do HappyWork consulting. I didn't want to go try to sell that. I did not want to be an entrepreneur. And I have some pretty serious specific reasons. A lot of the entrepreneurs I've met, I don't really like them as people. I don't think that I want to become one of them where I have this singular focus in life. I see a lot of them stepping on any neck it'll take to get there. I didn't want to ever become that.
I
know that I'm grossly overgeneralizing, but that's how
I'm not like that.
You are not like that, but that's
not like that.
He is not like that, but that's kind of how I saw the world. And that's how those are some of the entrepreneurs that I saw. And I won't name names. There are people who are in the same industry as us.
We know.
I'm not a fan. I don't like seeing their videos on YouTube pre-roll. I throw up in my mouth every time I see them.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And I think there's a better way to do it. I think that I'm hoping that I can, in my next entrepreneurial venture, which is going to happen, believe it or not, that's the secret project that we'll discuss maybe, is that I want to do it with HappyWork principles. I don't want to become one of those people. I don't want to step on my mom's neck in order to get there. And I think there's a way to do it, but it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous that I might have to, I don't know how to say this, be tougher than I am, that might, and so that intimidates me a little bit. So I think that what I've enjoyed about being an employee, well, first of all, where I'm at now, I work at Maryville University in St. Louis. This is a wonderful place to be. I've been here 2.5 years.
You've loved it. You're on social media talking about how much you love it. I mean, I
love it.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be. We're doing great work. I love being able to mentor our students. Any chance I get, I'll mentor our students, especially the comp students when they're out looking for jobs. I can hook them up with opportunities in St. Louis. I love teaching. So that's an amazing thing that I sometimes get to do, act as a mentor here. They don't let me in the classroom too much because I don't have a master's degree. I can't become like a true professor, but I could adjunct and things like that. But I really enjoy this environment, and it's good benefits. It's great benefits. And it allows me, now I do have to work this weekend because it's alumni week. It's alumni weekend coming up, but the thing is, I get a chance to like unplug my brain. That's another thing I was always worried about as an entrepreneur. I see entrepreneurs saying, oh, like when you have your own business, you can go to the gym at 10 in the morning. Everyone else is in their cubicle and you can just do whatever you want. You can curate your own existence. And I like the sound of that, but what I felt like my brain was best suited for was being able to literally unplug and not worry. I felt like, this is what I felt like. I felt like that I would worry more 24/7 about my own business than I would worry about this place. And this place should not take offense. I do work here and I put everything I have into it and I care about it. But I just felt like mentally, once it was all on the line with a real business, I felt like maybe I would never be able to unplug, and it worried me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a thing, right? I mean, when you run your own business, the buck stops with you. And if you don't, you were talking earlier about not minding sending emails when you're on vacation. Whenever we go on vacation, I take one day out of each week that we're gone and I meet with all my clients on that day because it's just, if I don't work, I don't get paid.
Right.
And I also think, my commitment to my clients means that, we have, continuity, and I don't want to have to figure out later, okay, where do we make up that week? And, so it's easier for everyone if I just go, I don't mind working that one day out of the week. And, I miss my clients when I don't talk to them. So, but you do worry. I mean, I don't remember ever when it's been a while, but when I did have a job, I don't remember ever wondering or worrying about I had a job. I wasn't going to be hungry. As long as I did my job and showed up and did the stuff I was supposed to do, I had my health insurance, I had my benefits, I had my vacation, and that at that company, I had fresh fruit every day. And so that I didn't have to shop for. That was our benefit. So
that sounds good. I can tell you one thing is that, and one thing is somewhat of a mitigating circumstance for me to where a normal person might say, I am going for entrepreneurship because I want to be able to write my own ticket. I don't want to rely on anyone else.
Yeah.
I am really good at getting jobs. So that's the thing. A lot of people, you hear of someone like they're looking for a job. They've been out of work for 6 months, 12 months. I don't struggle with that ever. Wow. That hasn't happened yet. Now I work in an industry where eventually I might suffer from ageism,
Yeah.
So but I don't think that's so. I'm going to break that mold. If I happen to stay here, which I feel like I will, I'm going to break that mold. I'm not concerned. I'm really not concerned about it. But that's the one thing that makes it easier for me to say, job's cool. I know I can manage this until whatever time I want to retire, is because I am really good at getting jobs. I never struggle.
That's amazing.
There's nervousness, obviously, but you just rely on all your friends, great resume, great LinkedIn, great storytelling in person, call on favors when you need them, and so help people along the way so that when you need a favor, sometimes you'll get it. So here's the thing. Let's talk about Secret Project.
Oh, okay. Yes. Let's talk about Secret Project.
Super briefly. Here's something that's super interesting to me. Like for so long, up until 4 months ago, I would never have thought it's time to start a business. Okay. But then something really interesting clicked. One, I found a topic that's super interesting to me The minute I got interested in this, I got super uninterested in writing my second book, which was going to be a book on social media. I was having serious mental struggles about writing this book. Does Dave know
this?
He didn't know. No, he has no idea.
Oh, no.
So, no, the publisher has no idea because I didn't even approach them about it.
Okay.
Like, I was just writing because I wanted to write. And I was going to say, hey, do you guys want this book or not? If they didn't want it, I would self-publish or go find a different publisher or whatever.
And for those who don't know, Chris, who wrote this book, Chris and I share a publisher. So go on, Chris.
Yeah. And, they were so good to me. You hear a lot of publisher horror stories, and there's just nothing of the sort with Sound Wisdom. So I will plug them and say they're really good. They're really good people. But no, like I was having serious mental struggles with writing this book, and it's about social media, which I know well. And I might be a little cynical about social media in a way that, you have developed a healthy skepticism and cynicism about marketing. I might be the same way, even though I am still doing it for a living.
Yeah.
But a few months ago, I stumbled upon something that was so interesting to me. And then I thought, okay, I think I could get this, and I think I could get this sold. I think I could do this, this new business. And I can curate it in a way where it never gets in the way of my day job. And then I thought to myself, okay, this is actually the perfect time to do something like this. During a time of relative, like actually extreme comfort in my work life, like things are going well here. I'm well respected here. It's such a break from the last job I had where I lasted 11 months and it was like just an awful experience. Not a good, no, it wasn't. Not a good place to work. Not a fan. All my same ideas I'm doing here, and they're all working, and people realize it. I met with good results at the last job. I have the numbers to prove it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just goofy. Just goofy.
But so you're making this idea sound really exciting, but it's still going to be a secret at the end of this interview, isn't it?
It will, but that just means you'll have to have me back.
Oh, what a shock.
especially when I learn more about what I'm doing, frankly, with entrepreneurism and specifically the product that I'm going to have developed and that I'm going to sell. Like I've got so much to learn. That's actually one of the reasons I'm doing it too, is I'm just excited to learn about this topic. And so for me, I realized that during this time when everything's going great, it is actually the time to find a way to grow in some way. Yeah. And I don't mean this, that sounds so like cheesy, and those words could come out of any person's mouth. I want to repeat. It's true though. I have to repeat it though. So like another great time to start a business is when you're like desperate. Okay. Truthfully, like why not go at that time? So I hear tons of stories of people who like, they started their consulting when they got laid off. Like it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it forced me to go do something I never would have done. Yeah. Instead, here, nothing is forcing me to do it. I just want to do it because I love the topic, but two, I am speaking to myself and saying, now is a great time when you're not worried about your job. And I still have so much I want to accomplish here. Like I am not done. And I might be here until retirement. But you want to stretch a little too. I mean, I can stretch, I can stretch here. I can stretch here. And they let you stretch here. They let me do crazy things here. No one tells me no one tells me how to do my job. I have some like alternative viewpoints on how to do social media. And I let that personality show through on our corporate official social media, and people tend to love it. Yeah. That's what I've noticed. So I'm going for it here. I'm letting it all hang loose, and it seems to be going really well. I mean, I bump heads with certain people who are like a little bit more traditional. Doesn't matter. Like we're still friends, and I still do the thing that makes them uncomfortable anyway. But for me, this is the great time to try something. But you have to remind yourself, because when you're comfortable, that's when you don't stretch typically. That's when you like, it's easy to go home at 5 and sit on the couch and watch all the awful shows that you've DVR'd. Like I'm trying not to do that. So I am purposely trying to find different ways to grow. I think some of that growth could positively affect me here at Maryville at my job. That would be amazing. Well, I won't know till I try, So. Well, so when you'll let me know when you're ready to come back, right? Oh, I mean, goodness, yes. And
you've done a great job of teasing it, by the way. Like now I'm in
it's not
suspense.
like, here's the thing. I'm not teasing it on purpose, really. It's just that, so you're familiar with the term side hustle, right? I mean, this is becoming incredibly popular.
Yeah.
I think Chris Guillebeau's coming out with a book called Side Hustle or something like that. I'm super curious to read it.
Sure.
So this is a side hustle. I am having some discussions within my brain about whether I should let my place of work know that I'm doing this.
Oh.
And here's one reason. One reason is that I know myself and that I will be creating content about this.
Yeah.
So I have tons of people that I work with who follow me on social media. I'm Facebook friends. I'm LinkedIn friends.
We've mentioned it now here.
I'm Twitter friends. I've mentioned it and they'll see. So my general thought is to like go and say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing it on my free time. And the reason I would want is I still don't want anyone to ever question that loyalty you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Like that I don't feel a loyalty to this place per se because I am getting older and perhaps a little more cynical, but I really like it here and I'll stay as long as they'll have me. And so I am considering going and saying, hey, here's the deal.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that yet.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing how it went next time you're here.
Love it.
And thank you for being on the show. This is really interesting stuff. And I am excited to find out what this secret is. I was so hopeful.
Oh, I'm still working on it. I still have so much to do, but I'm probably several months from being able to debut the product. And so, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, it's like, I have this excitement inside of me.
Oh yeah.
And I did not have that for book number 2, which told me I put it aside. I had to put it aside.
You have to know when to let something go. So be sure to let me know when you're ready, because I want to have you come back and talk about it. Thank you for being on the show, Chris. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. If you liked this episode and you found it useful and informative, give us a thumbs up and please subscribe for great interviews and behind the scenes footage. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.